Well, we all know about what happened with the RCID. And, now it's no longer the RCID, or the Reedy Creek Improvement District, the basically quasi-government that actually owned and really operated the Walt Disney World Resort area right there. And that was established in the 1960s, and there's a whole big history associated with that. We've covered this extensively in previous coverage of that park place. But upon its destruction by basically Ron DeSantis, which, by the way, he was actually praising Epic Universe as well recently. Very interesting there. The new Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, or cftod, was established after that. And in this process of the RCID being broken down by the state of Florida in retaliation to their response, or Disney's response to the Parental Rights and Education Bill and all of that stuff that actually happened. Well, in the midst of all of that, Disney was like, hey, you know that affordable housing that we promised in the 60s? We're finally doing it. Well, we have an update on that specific project here from that park place. Walt Disney World Affordable Housing Project delayed amid permitting process. May 22nd, 2025 by Marvin Montanaro. The Walt Disney World Affordable Housing Project, first announced in April of 2022, has encountered further delays as the company continues navigating the permitting process with Orange County, Florida. Initially projected to break ground in late 2024, the timeline has shifted, with Disney most recently indicating that groundbreaking is expected sometime in 2025. It's weird. Again, this was something that they touted back in the 60s that they were going to actually do, that they were going to provide housing for the, tens of thousands of cast members that were going to be part of this resort complex when it opened in 1971. But they also said recently that, hey, we're finally doing it. We're finally providing this affordable housing. This is the power of the RCID. Apparently it's not only powerless, but they haven't really been, let's say, I think, enthusiastic about setting this up in a timely fashion. At least that's what it looks like to me. The delay also raises questions about the move-in date for prospective residents. While Disney previously stated that the first residents would move in by 2026, that projection has since been removed from public materials. If the revised timeline holds, occupancy could be pushed back into 2027. Oof. A full build of the project is expected to take 5 years once construction actually begins. Jonas, your thoughts on this specific little delay for this specific project?
Well, just to make it clear, this project and the fact that it came up during the cftod RCID kerfuffle, I think that this was something that was very specifically, the opportunity was taken while Disney was being accused of not fulfilling the mandate of RCID, which was to provide housing in that area. And they definitely did not provide housing in that area. The idea here was that they were supposed to be using that land at RCID to cultivate an area where people could live, specifically Epcot. If we're really getting specific here, it's Epcot and the actual Epcot, not Epcot the theme park that's World Showcase and Future World merged together. The Epcot that was actually supposed to be an experimental prototype community of tomorrow. So this, I think, was an attempt while things were going on to try to, whether or not they were genuine in their attempts here, and I think that they had to be genuine in their attempts here to build housing in the area. It was also during a high profile time where a lot of eyeballs were on Disney while they were trying to turn the cftod thing into a First Amendment complaint, a due process complaint, and several others. Eventually, it just ended up being First Amendment, which got thrown out. But this is, I think this was an attempt by Disney to try to get this going. I don't know if they will continue to pursue it very hard at this point.
Right. It seems like, they're not as perhaps enthusiastic about all of this as much as they were before, because I do think it was an attempt to stop what the state of Florida was doing to the RCID itself. Maybe I'm wrong. Culture, your thoughts on this specific story here?
I have no reason to disagree that this was obfuscation. I wouldn't put a nefarious motivation behind Disney, except almost every time they do something. This was a way to try to change a story. One of the many ways to try to change a story is to do something like this. They were always trying to propose various housing projects and lower cost options for people, especially in the college program. This has been going on for a long, long time. They've never really truly created anything that would have benefited their employees directly without some kind of cost. So, you would have people doubling up, tripling up in rooms, or quadrupling up. I mean, it gets insane with some of the things these people have to do just to work at Disney. And Disney really never did anything to mitigate the cost. So the proposal like this and some kind of, virtue signal in the form of housing was always going to be, something they would turn to. So do I think they are ever going to get around to this? I hope so. It would be nice for them to live up to some kind of promise they made decades ago. But this is probably just going to take another pause. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's the sad thing about the state of working for the company right now, especially in the position of a cast member out there in Florida, because as you alluded to right there, the pay is not all that great. And they've been subsidizing their workforce with a whole bunch of college program recipients right there, which in that way, they don't really have to pay very much at all in order to in terms of hourly wages and so forth. They house them. I believe there's other benefits associated with that in order to keep those people fed and keep them working over there at the parks. More than 80% of the housing will consist of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. The development will feature a range of housing styles, including apartments, flats, townhome style layouts. Disney has pledged to make more than 1,000 of the units affordable. Based on previously released details, most of the affordable units will be aimed at households earning around 80% of the area median income, or AMI, roughly between $49,000 and $90,000 annually, depending on household size. Only about 11% of the units will be priced for the lowest AMI bracket. Importantly, the apartments will be available to anyone who meets the income qualifications, not just Disney cast members, though they are eligible to apply. So that's really significant there too. This isn't going to be exclusive for cast members. It's just affordable housing units that could be provided for anybody in the surrounding area right there. Jonas, I think you were about to say something and you were muted, sir.
I think that this is something that Disney has really, that this has been a focus for cast members for a very long time. Cast member housing. I won't get into the recent stories about what's happened there, or the fact that we have Erica in the comments saying DCP is a joke. One of my former students was on it and hated it. It's good for people who want Disney on their resume and also are not too particular. I think that this is something that Disney should have actually done a long time ago, or do actual cast member housing if that's what you're going to do. The competition in the area from Epic Universe is probably going to be good for Disney, because this will cause them to raise their standards for what they provide to employees. Because cast members, they actually ended up lowering standards in the last few years. Don't get too deep into that, but because they were losing talent, because that talent one could not afford to work there, and there was also some aggressive policies that drove them away. So if there's more affordable housing in the area, that is good for everybody if those people have jobs working at Disney and Epic. So, and of course, the rest of UOR.
Well, that's I love how you bring that up too, because there is Universal and Disney compete on multiple levels for many resources, not just revenue, but also to labor. And from what I understand, Universal has a little bit more of a compelling product in that regard. We'll see how that all shakes out, especially with Epic Universe and so forth. It's like, well, Disney, if you're not going to provide affordable housing, I'll just go across I Drive or something. Maybe that conversation happened. I'm not sure, but we'll keep you abreast of that project and more as it develops.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.